to the LEC after the craziest game I've seen in playoffs so far. I think that's fair to say. Fnatic.
Yesterday, game 3, what are we talking about?
I don't know, but Fnatic, I lost my voice. We were screaming so much in the green room. Insane. So Fnatic, in the end, takes the win over Rogue. But as you say, like yesterday, that game 3, it was so back and forth when we hit the mid and the late game. So we want to turn it on its head and start with the final fight. I'm going to start with this final fight, with really final fight trouble.
Okay, all I have to say here is that there's a very thin line between someone inting and making a hero play. And it's whether their team are going to actually back them up. And right here, Rogue had to back up from that play the second last start and channeling his teleport. And of course, the fact that Humanoid also teleported back into base meant that Rogue had to back up to try and defend. So it was a very messy fight, a lot of back and forth. Obviously, Fnatic had the Elder Dragon, so Rogue did not want to turn this around. And at the end of the day, it is always obviously Fnatic finding the 4 versus 2 here.
Yeah, and I think Rogue are in a really rough position where they traded Elder for the Baron, and they weren't in a position like maybe they could try and sneak a recall in really quickly. But otherwise, again, you're dealing with poke and you don't have a way to turn around and force fight. You're going to get lost.
Yeah, we only saw this final fight, but you say it there. We were dealing with poke, and I want to pull up the team compositions before we get into the next Baron replays, which were also so crucial, because I feel like there's a couple of key takeaways of choices that were made in the draft that bled into those late game fights.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think Fnatic have opted for more of a poke-oriented composition. You also have the Pyke. You land 1 Q, Shock Blast, rockets from the Corki, Xayah Feathers, now that's his lethality, and somebody gets completely blown up. And to usually counter that, you need some hard engage. You need to engage onto your opponents before the poke lands. And there was multiple scenarios where Rogue was trying to move into the Dragon. They were trying to contest objectives, but they were getting poked out of existence.
And that was the big blunder at the end of the draft, right? They were trying to debate between the Leona and the Lulu, it looked like, from the hovers. And I think that, yes, having a Lulu next to a Jinx means that you always have a shot in the late game if your Jinx is able to get excited and pop off in the fight. But it means that your engage options are so unreliable. A Gnar and a Lee Sin getting the flank is the only way to make it happen, and that's not easy to reproduce.
As we take a look at these next Baron replays, and I'm going to give the word to Trouble too, because you were screaming about Malrang, because he needs to make it happen, right? You saw him looking for it the whole game.
I just think Malrang played so freaking well. The fact that Rogue relied specifically on him to find the backline, to find the kicks right here. They're going to drive Razork out of the pit. What does Malrang do? Instantly dives in, and he's like, okay, we're going to rush the Baron right here, because Razork has no way back into the pit. He doesn't have the flash. And even when he ults in, Malrang does not miss those. And I feel like a lot of his kicks were on point. He was finding the flags. I think Draco said something about him sitting top lane for 2 minutes straight, trying to find the flag, trying to find that kick. I commend him so much, because even in this loss, he looked absolutely incredible.
We'll take a look at the previous Baron, or the Baron before that then, because this was one where he was sitting there for so
this is
long.
one where he has to get the flank again. How do you start a fight against this Corki with package up? He waited for so long in Fog of War. You know, Rogue were even using, or Fnatic rather, were using blue trinkets to try and scout him out, and they still couldn't find him because of how deep he was in enemy territory. And that was so huge for Rogue to burst out Humanoid, because he didn't have TP or package.
And we have to remember, Fnatic had a beastly early game. You're going to talk about the bot lane in just a second. But this is giving me hope for the series from both sides. Yes, that little oopsie with the teleport that wasn't backed up from the rest of Rogue. But Trouble, we are in for a long series, it seems.
Absolutely. I think considering that, I think here Rogue's composition was extremely hard to play because of the fact that a comp composition has gotten ahead in the early game. I think it was very, very close to be turned around. It was literally 1 ignite on that 1 HP Corki, 1 HP more damage on that 1 HP Corki, and Rogue would have initially ended the game right there and then.
Yes, so in terms of kind of the draft, also Trimby, we said he loves his Enchanter supports, right? And he went not for Leona in this case, but he went for Lulu. That is something we'll have to keep our eye on. On the other side, we had a Pyke, of course. You are picking your solo laners. You're not banning out Rakan or Pyke, and that was a problem from the get-go.
It was a big problem. I want to give a tutorial on how Humanoid plays the early, or not Humanoid, what am I talking to? Hylissang plays the early game on the Pyke. I brought my notebook because there's so much to break down here too. We're going to jump straight into it because Fnatic had a great read and tried to punish and get a flash off whoever went into the spot lane lane brush. Notice Razork playing up, we can't see it anymore, but playing inside the Dragon Pit, using the E to go over the wall to instantly get that flash. And then there's so much good stuff that Fnatic do. Hylissang starts the game off with a sweeper. At the same time, we actually saw a ward go down onto the enemy red buff, and this is all to set up and try to punish in this early game to get kills on this bot lane that's losing a flash on the Lulu. So what Hylissang does is he plays inside this forward brush, and it's all to create pressure when Rogue go onto the wave. Running double range, running a range support makes your trading really, really awkward when those hooks are landing. So Hylissang, what you're gonna see him do is play inside this brush for a really long time, and then when he queues, it's not just queuing out of the brush. He always tries to walk up into his opponent, close the gap, because they can dodge if they see the hook coming out of the brush, but if you just walk at them, going left, right, it's not enough time to actively react into it. So there we have him dropping the ignite, all the sums go down. Comp is of course gonna end up losing his heal, and all this does is make it that much easier to punish Trymbi on the dive later on. At this point, Hylissang's sweeper has come up, so they're able to clear out the tri-brush. It's absolutely beautiful, again, to set up for a level 3 dive around this bottom lane. Keep in mind, that ward that we saw so long ago, now of course it's timed out on the enemy jungle, but they expect this Lee Sin to be bot side, and that's why Hylissang's walk into the enemy jungle here is so crucial. Notice that he's able to clear out the Krug camp. They see that that is up, so by inference, they can determine that on the top side of the map, that is boom, where Lee Sin is going to be going for that top side scuttle crab. That sets up for this very easy dive on the bot side. I say easy, but of course, we do see Hylissang trade in the end. That doesn't matter though if you're Fnatic, because it's just about increasing volatility, because they are going to be back in that bottom lane to try and punish it once again. And look at the pathing Hylissang is going to end up taking. He has the sweeper, he's going to go all the way through there while his jungler comes through the river too, just to again collapse on this bottom lane. They still have that forward ward. Check that out. They've got a ward there from the last dive that spots out and is going to say, no, 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 there's no Lee Sin here whatsoever. So boom, they force it right underneath the tower, get a TP out as well. It's just that easy. And in typical Hylissang fashion, of course he's gonna step forward on this next wave and try to deny Comp any minions that he can underneath the turret. It's crazy Hylissang stuff. I don't even think he ended up denying the minion, but you love to see it. But this is where things get great. I talk about the excellent wave manipulation of Hylissang. He's gonna hold this wave. Check this out. He's gonna get it right here and basically force all those minions to focus fire the front minion coming in from those. And what that's gonna do is it causes the lane to push back up into upset so he can collect all those minions, and this poor enemy AD carry isn't gonna be able to farm. It's gonna be miserable for him. No one is going to have fun, and Trymbi has the least fun of all. He tries to stop the reset of Hylissang in order to, get those two players on one to push out the lane, ends up getting punished, and it goes completely haywire. That's just a quick look, I say quick, it was like 4 minutes, of how Hylissang is able to dominate the early game with good wave manipulation, understanding of jungle pathing, and absolutely setting up for dives. Let's pray for 4 more of those crazy games as we send it over to Drakos and the crew, the gang, the boys, to get us into picks and bans.
God of League of Legends, thou art on Rift, thy will be done. 4 more 50-minute games. Is that what you wanted, Ender? I'm sorry, I don't know that. I should know the whole thing.
Ender's also one of the boys.
Ender's also one of the boys. Just as this, it's kind of, yeah.
The lads, the gang,
the lads,
crew.
the gang. I like the gang. The gang's more inclusive. We're all here. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe the
But he
crew.
doesn't play Elden Ring, so I'm kicking him from the gang.
But he doesn't. He only plays Skyrim.
He doesn't play Elden Ring?
Yeah, it's weird because he calls us boomers, but he doesn't play new games. He just plays Skyrim, which is a very boomer thing
it's like
to
the
do.
easy version of Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Not a fan.
Anyway.
Speaking of not a fan, Fnatic, not a fan of how that game played out. Despite winning, players coming back on stage, I gotta tell you guys got up here a minute later. I was looking. Tense faces, tense discussions. They were not pleased with how that game played out. And you can understand why. We were maybe a single Ignite, a single TP away from Rogue winning that game after what was a massively favored Fnatic early game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of game where if Fnatic were to lose it could break you, especially in game 1 of a series, right? Trust could be an issue, how you really read the game, play the game, draft. You could question so many different things. But because they won, it's the case of, okay, it's not that bad. We actually won in the end. But there's still a lot from start to finish that needs to be fixed.
But, if you're Rogue, you're like, that was winnable, boys. We had a worse draft. We didn't play as well in the early game, and we almost won. So confidence likely going to be pretty high from this team.
Oh, yeah.
And you know that they're going to come in with a new draft plan in game 2. You imagine, I believe that they are still on the blue side. They will have side selection. So yeah, this is going to be an exciting one. Both these teams are at the top of our league right now in Europe, and we're getting ready for game 2's draft.
Here we are. Picks and bans, banging music. Where else would you want to be on a beautiful Saturday night or morning or whatever time it is wherever you're watching? I don't know. There's no right answer other than here. I'll be honest with you. Oh, or Sunday. Wow, time zone's complicated. Anyway, LeBlanc is still banned, and I think after Humanoid's performance last week, it makes a lot of sense. But I'm curious to see what's going to change. The stuff that remains the same doesn't interest me.
Yeah, I think if anyone's going to change the draft, of course, like you said, it's probably going to be Rogue. They're going to be the ones who need an answer, and there's one already. Taking away the Jace from Fnatic on the 1-2, feeling like the Gnar wasn't the best answer, but also an annoying champ to deal with on a blind pick, especially when you can set up a comp around him with poke.
We did see the Zeri band hit from Fnatic. In game 1, wouldn't be surprised to see that removed once more. Rogue then chose to remove the Aphelios in this situation. The question is, will they be open to leave it open? Or will they instead close that one out, go for another Jinx lock-in? Of course, we know Upset's quite happy to play the Xayah, because that's been his default go-to. Oh, but the Jinx is going to be removed.
Interesting.
So now Aphelios could be a quite high-prior pick for both these AD carries. Xayah as well.
What we do know is Comp is happy to play Kate. So I wonder if Rogue has an alternative first pick, something like the Volibear, like we saw yesterday from G2. And then they can actually go for something like a Kate Lux towards the bot side of the map and then be a very bot side focused draft to try and shut down Upset.
And we've seen the good and the bad of Kate Lux domestically. Now, admittedly, Comp and Tribute have mostly been the good side of that, but we've also seen the bad. It is a very volatile lane. Instead, they're going to grab Aphelios, and maybe this is an open challenge now to Fnatic. Yes, we know the Xayah does well to Jinx. He can go for the Xayah here, or they can take a Caitlyn lane of their own and just try to win out on the bot side.
Let's see if Fnatic calls the bluff here. If they don't pick Caitlyn here, Rogue will have that information for the rest of the game. Of course, Caitlyn wasn't picked last game, but this will solidify that nail. And Fnatic, of course, can't early rotate their top laner, so expecting some kind of jungle. Mid, maybe Lee Sin LeBlanc could work, or just go for the AD. Volibear also worked last game, running it back
Isn't
here.
it fascinating how Volibear has just become so high priority here in Europe? It's just like first pick,
everywhere.
You
high
point,
priority.
and they stun, Betty. It's very nice and appropriate. It's not
true.
complicated. You can't miss it. You point, and they stun.
Thresh, I don't think we've seen much Thresh recently, more of so a counter pick or later on in the draft when supports are banned out, but that's a 1-2 Thresh. We tend to see Nautilus picked up, and he's just trying to deny the Aphelios Thresh, I presume. Also, I think they're wary of, if we pick away Volibear and Thresh, Jarvan falls down in prio quite heavily for Malrang, so it's unlikely he'll early rotate jungle, and we can ban him out again.
Looks like that's going to be their plan as Rogue lock in, again, the blind Gnar. Ooh, the Caitlyn actually going to come out from Upset. We haven't seen that so far from him in playoffs. Not a champion we typically see from Upset, but a very strong 2v2 lane and going to be leveraging that long range in the early lane. Again, likely to be a bot side focus game from Fnatic.
And Hill is saying a lot of you think of the Pyke, but Thresh, Morgana, these are the champions that he really made his name on, landing these skill shots, being so consistent on connecting those key abilities, even before he was the big brain playmaker, map mover, wave state manipulator. So back to an OG champ for the player.
Yeah, hooks come to my mind when I see Thresh early rotated and no support on Rogue, because of course Thresh has a hook, but Nautilus is good in Thresh. Pyke can be good as well. Blitzcrank can also be fantastic. Yeah. We're talking a lot of hooks here, so one of them already banned away from Fnatic. We'll see what Trimby decides to go for. Can, of course, run back something like the Lulu. Aphelios Lulu, fantastic scaling once again. You have a victory, you have a Gnar, you have good team fight. Enemy has no poke now that you've taken away Jace and now Corki as well. So they're going to be up against a completely different composition of Fnatic, which will be a lot easier for them.
Certainly. I think, though, if we end up with another Lulu, we really have to look at the jungle pick to see what's going to change for the side of Rogue here. Last game, they did suffer a lot with engage options. Now, Aphelios admittedly patches a lot of that up with the purple gun and that ultimate, the ability to snare multiple members on the opposing side. But are we going to see something with aggressive, reliable engage from Malrang? Yes, the Lee Sin was good in his hands. He had a lot of clutch kicks, but it was not the same immediate, reliable point-and-click EQ ult that the Jarvan brought to the table. And as you already highlighted, Jarvan a little bit weaker with a Thresh now in the game. Well, significantly weaker.
Curious as to what direction Rogue is going to go now in terms of their support. I really like this Rakan ban. I also really like that Camille ban from Rogue, limiting what options Wunder has to try and shut down this Gnar. But with Rakan gone and Nautilus gone and Leona not really being the best matchup here, I wonder what actually direction they're going to go in terms of engaged supports. I mean,
The thing is, Fnatic don't really have anything to counter, right? They see mid, they see top, that's all they have to pick left, and the same is for Rogue, so there's no real hiding here.
Gangplank, yes.
Yeah.
What's the stat you have for his Dracos?
Oh, so back in 2016 summer, I think the first semifinal I ever cast, Oda and Wunder played against each other, Splyce versus H2K in the top lane, and they played the exact same matchup 5 games in a row. It was the most catastrophically boring series I've ever cast. It was Gnar GP. They said, admittedly, back then Gnar built Black Cleaver, Frozen Mallet. He was way more fun, I'll be honest with you. This time around, though, it's going to be a little different. I love GP ult into the immobile threats on the side of Rogue.
Definitely, but there is a Jarvan locked in. We thought it wouldn't happen because of the Thresh. I'll hold my breath for a second because I said hooks, I said Blitzcrank and Pipe.
we did talk
Are they
about
going to lock it in? It would be fantastic.
It's also something Trimby has played during the regular season. He had a great game on it, from what I recall.
They don't have that much frontline right now. GPK Thresh, there's no Ornn in your face, no Sion, no Nautilus. Any hook hitting could be a kill. Trimby's feeling it, he's hovering it. Could also just go full team fight to follow up with the Jarvan, but I mean, this does work, does get the job done.
No, he's too humble. We talked to him this week and he's too humble. He's not going to take the ego show off, hit the hook pick. He's going to take the safe, reliable option. And you've already got a Jarvan and an Gnar, so I respect it.
Orianna doesn't really come to anyone's surprise when you think of Humanoid. We'll just pick that into Victor. Control, scaling mage, mid matchup. What I want to talk about was the Jarvan pick, right? You have a Thresh on the enemy team, a Caitlyn. Not the best Jarvan game. Volibear can jump out as well, but I think we saw Malrang pick Jarvan into like LeBlanc, Rakan, Lee Sin. Against Misfits, I believe it was. Like, it was the most horrific draft to pick Jarvan. My man still picks Jarvan. Giga Chad goes his first strike, doesn't care. So he's going to lock it in once again. Big team fight comp for Rogue. Big team fight comp for Fnatic. Doesn't really get that much more complicated.
That's my favorite part. It's like every draft, you're like, it would be terrible to pick Jarvan here. I'm like, look at the nameplates, my dude. Why do you even bother? He's going to do what he's going to do. What he's going to do.
He hits lock in, and then he's like, listen, it doesn't matter if they dash as long as my EQ flash hits them.
His logic is you can't dash out of my ult because as soon as you dash, I'm going to ult you. So it's a staring game, but yeah, both these comps, huge team fight, huge scaling. Don't expect too much action in the early game, maybe from the junglers, specifically Razork perhaps on the Volibear can look for early plays, but still a lot of team fight here on both sides.
Oh man, Malrang really impressed me with what he was able to do on that Lee Sin later on into the game with the number of kicks he would find. A lot of it was reliant on flanks. This time he can be a lot more front forward, you know, EQ, ult, straight into the face of the opposition. He has the Lulu to offer support as well. The Gnar can offer follow-up, a lot more straightforward in terms of playing front to back. Rogue kind of get that team fight comp that they wanted, and they also eliminate a lot of these poke options. Fnatic, let's find out if they can continue this lead as we jump into game 2.
Here we are on to Summoner's Rift, and let me tell you what Rogue learned last game. Do not give away bot lane advantages at level 1. If Fnatic want to scrap, well, Rogue are ready for a scrap this time.
Mano a mano.
5
Gonna
on 5.
tussle with them in the bot lane, get an early ward in the bush, make sure they can get the push, and shut down that bot lane.
First rule of Fight Club, bring everyone else this time round.
Is that the new rule of Fight Club? I thought it was a different rule.
No, that's the rule.
Could have sworn you've already broken one of the rules, Benny, but that's fine. Yeah, okay. We went to different clubs, obviously.
Yeah, in my club, it was that guy bullied me last game, so I'm bringing my older brothers. This time, though, Hylissang was not in the vicinity.
Yeah.
He's going to walk away. No flashes were burned in the first minute.
Control of the middle brush for now, though, can be big. Trimby, of course, more early damage in the trades, presuming a hook does not land from Hylissang. In this game in general, outside of J4 versus Volibear in the jungle, which obviously can be very explosive, feels like it's going to be less volatile just because there's not a pike this time around.
Yeah, it's on the junglers to make things explosive. Malrang playing Jarvan can be very creative. Can do 3 camps topside into mid gank. Surprise Humanoid from topside. He can do camps into bot because they know that the bot lane river is watered. Can EQ over Dragon Plate and come from behind. He can be very, very creative with his pick. Razork and him starting on the exact same sides of the map. But yeah, for now, lanes will be pretty stable.
Humanoid will have a little bit more agency in this matchup compared to last game. On the Corki, you can just get bullied around by the Victor.
Was he part of your fight club then?
No, he wasn't. I only permit the boys, the gang, the crew into the Fight Club. But on this matchup, Humanoid has slightly more range and a lot more trading tools on the Orianna, so you'll see a little bit more back and forth. Once Larssen gets the E is when the matchup gets a little bit more annoying, because it's one of those things where like, aha, I have more range. Like, no, you don't. And so you just see them trading health a lot during the laning phase, basically trying to bully each other out, as both junglers, well, actually kind of mirroring say mirroring. They're doing the counter. I always forget the words, the opposites.
Mismatch.
The mismatch, yeah. So Jarvan's going to path towards bot, Razork going to path towards top. Listen,
I was really
you'd think that I speak...
I was just waiting for a more scientific term from professional analyst
What
of
you
the
want to say?
year, Mark Lamont.
Counterclockwise, reverse, opposite
I mean,
side
sure,
jungling.
just use a adjective, mismatch. They did the swippy swap.
Yeah, Swippy swap.
Swippy swap.
The reversal.
In any case, the important lane to keep an eye on is this bot lane, because typically Fnatic will path towards bot in order to try and attack early, maybe burn some summoners, set up Upset and Hylissang for success. But this time around, you can see they did get an early push, but that does mean that they're in a bit of an awkward spot right now. They have warded the river to prepare for any early ganks, but Malrang is someone... Oh, hang on, as I say that, Razork now pathing back towards... I'm sure you've got a scientific name for this.
Backtracking.
The backtracking.
Oh, yeah, that's
The
good. I like
backtrack.
that.
He
That's a
saw
good word.
he saw Malrang on Raptors and he thought, well, he wants to look for something on the early game towards bot, and he wants bot grab. So I have bot push, I have mid push. This is my crab, and then he can go take the top side crab. So that's the benefit of having lane push. We'll see if Fnatic's bot lane falls prey to a gank, but they should be fine for now. I think Razork is taking that crab. They have a ward in river as well.
When I'm jungling, I call that the oops, my sat-nav took me the wrong way. Now, he will be able to secure the top Scuttle Crab as well. You can see that Wunder does have the push in the top 1v1 for the time being. This means that Razork
Alexa,
will
take
be...
top crab.
Exactly. Razork will be able to secure double grab, as Comp and Trimby will now be able to get themselves a little bit more push. So just overall, standard early game, small advantage gain for Razork in the jungle matchup, but that just means that Malrang's going to do a full clear layer, get that first base. Let's see if Razork is looking for a dive.
Rodman is low. He knows Malrang's pathing bot and he's towards the bot side. I can't see top wave just yet, but he's going to get spotted on a wall, so Rodman has the information to work with. Could just back off and base here. Waves in an awkward state, pushing towards Wunder. Probably wants to catch a couple more creeps before he does base, because basing on 15 CS, he won't be able to get the best of items. Wants to make sure he can get a component, maybe a refillable, something along those lines would be lovely.
Have it, Malrang going for a bit of a tricky path here, but it has been warded out already by Humanoid. Humanoid acting pretty well, though. Pretending like he doesn't know what's going on, still stepping forward a little bit. Did not react at all when Malrang went into the bush. Now he's backing away, though. I think he's probably played his hand.
Definitely has. Malrang pops a pink.
Do you know, really cool micro thing there. So obviously Malrang didn't know if Humanoid knew or not, but there was that one CS that Humanoid so far has been fighting for throughout the laning phase, and he chose not to aggressively go for it, which is kind of like that small inkling. Malrang,
too deep.
Malrang going in, the EQ now gone, he's forced to flash over the wall. Razork getting real frisky, Larson waiting over the wall. The gravity field going to stop from following up. Ball already attached to Razork is solid though. The second W not quite going to come in. If that was an auto, it would have finished him, but the W getting canceled. Here it comes. Going for more, wants to slow him down. That's going to be it. First blood for Razork.
Way too deep by Malrang there. He threw the E for first strike, and he thought Humanoid would get cocky and sidestep back into it. Hook hits onto Trimby, Lantern across.
Now going in, they're going to fish for the trap setup. Trimby is going to walk right into it. They don't quite get it down. Comp, big damage firing back from the Aphelios. Perfect guns in the exchange. Luckily, Razork in the area to stop that one from coming any further.
Yeah, they will back off. Got Trimby Summoners. Heal used from Upset. Ignite from Hylissang as well. Yeah, just back to that jungle play. Way too deep by Malrang. Used the E for first strike. Humanoid thought he got a bit cocky, could land the knockup, but he got baited once again. Oscar level performance from Humanoid. And from there onwards, Razork, I thought when Malrang flashed away here in a couple seconds that the play would be over, but Razork just didn't give up.
Yeah, I think that Razork knows that he wins this 1v1. Jarvan EQ combo, very long cooldown early levels. Not very strong in terms of early skirmishing. I didn't think Razork would commit this hard, but he had cooldowns coming back up. The slow applies, he has the Q, and is able to get enough damage to secure that kill. And Larson just doesn't have the mana to really offer any assistance. So first blood goes to Fnatic.
And first strike is something Malrang always runs, but Hex Flash on Jarvan, that's a first for me. We'll see what he can get done with it. I mean, you've got some Hex Flash ult shenanigans, and then they flash away, and then you EQ them. So we talk about dashes. This is an extra one for Malrang out of a bush.
Yeah, I'm not... Well, I think
You're going to say I'm not sold.
I'm not sold.
But you haven't seen it in action yet.
That's exactly what I was going to say. What I think it's on him to kind of sell it to us, you know, in this case. So.
Sell me this pen. Sell us this Hex Flash. We'll see if he can do it.
Wow, you are all over. I'm loving it. You are bam. References.
The Red Bull
left
keeps it
and
going,
right.
baby.
Oh, there it is. There you go. That's the power in action. Malrang debating. Can he Hex Flash into that exchange? The answer for now is no. Has to wait on the cooldown.
You're just going to track it every single fight.
I'm kidding.
See what happens with
We're
it.
done.
No, I want to do the same. Is he going to Hex Flash back over the wall now after taking blue for Larson? Would be pretty dank,
Tempo.
but he's got his Gromp up.
It's for tempo.
Tempo Hex Flash. Nah, he's got to go to Gromp, so he won't use it this time around. Unless he's fancy, but anyway.
Bringing
never
us back.
thought about
Bringing
it
us
though,
back.
as a jungler? Never thought about Hex Flash?
Hex Flash Trundle.
I take
Flash
Hex
over the
Flash.
wall level 1, steal his red buff, Hex Flash out. job done. Easy done. It was done in ERLs as well.
There you go. See?
Selfmade did it too in your ganked bot against
All I'm
XL.
going to say is, like, the options are limitless. And I can't wait to see what Malrang will come up with.
Unless someone hits you or if your normal flash is available.
Yeah, but
in
okay,
which
to be
case
fair,
you can't do anything
to be fair,
with
Malrang made some crazy flanks happen last game.
Sure.
And now he's got a Hex Flash on top of it. You know what I'm saying?
He had no X Flash last
Yeah,
game.
no, I'm just
That's
saying.
fair.
I'm just saying. We're about to witness brilliance or something else. We'll figure that out. The Drake is up. Both junglers are pathing towards bot. I don't think that's their main prerogative for the time being. But I expect some action. Razork, I think his intent is to go for a lane gank, mainly to hover. He's level 6, has the level advantage over Malrang.
It's very awkward right now because Malrang wants to get level 6 off this red buff, and Razork is already level 6
Oh,
because
they
of the
wanna
solo
contest
kill,
it.
and they want to contest it now, and Rogue don't have bot push. So very awkward situation here for Rogue. If Fnatic just keep forcing, it's always going to be a winning play. We'll see if Malrang can smite it away.
Ooh. Reset. Tragedy.
Really? What the?
The hook over the wall. There's a blast cone right there. They're going to knock it. It's going to take him back over. In the meantime, still has Volibear ult up and available. They're going to donate the kill over to Upset.
What the hell was that, Hilly? Doesn't even flinch the second the E lands on top of him. He says, nope, you're coming here. No flash. Lands the hook blind. Kind of predicts that he's going towards the blast cone and gets his team a kill. Kill over to Upset.
No.
Hex Flash? Okay.
Is he going to die?
Oh, he wants it.
Razork?
Razork has ult. He has Predator too. No flash though, Larson. This is ring around the rosy.
There it is.
He can go for this though. He has a tower that he can disable.
He gets his flash. And look, Humanoid gets himself a plate as well. It was Humanoid that used his ultimate in the lane to force Larson back. Then the Hex Flash comes in from Hylissang to buy a little bit more time. Then the commitment from Razork to stall Larson even more means that Humanoid has about a 2, even 3 wave CS advantage and secures 2 plates on the back end.
And gentlemen, coming into this series, we were looking at two teams who had the best early game numbers in our league. But someone has to come out on top. They can't both have a 1.4K gold advantage every game. And so far this series, it has been all about Fnatic in the early game. Razork dunking down Ottawamne on the top side.
Easy does it. Razork, man of the match, man of the game so far. Finding every single kill Fnatic have and accruing their advantage. Now, Rogue looking for the cross map. Hilly has Lantern, I want to believe, but Comp's just going to get the plates for himself.
Yeah, very big that he has the Calibrum there. Just shreds through those plates. Not quite able to finish the third.
This is the power of Volibear. We saw it in the G2 series yesterday, and just the prio on Volibear overall in Europe. You were talking about it, Betty. It's like the amount of playmaking junglers can make on it and how high prio it can become could be dangerous in best of fives. You know, Rogue might second guess themselves now going into game 3, thinking, wow, Volibear just seems to be the best early game champion. When Malrang's on it, he can do similar kind of things.
Yep. And so far in the draft, Rogue have not prioritized their jungler. They have been going for Larson on this Victor, and they wanted to make sure that Comp gets his AD carry. And admittedly, those two were very impactful in terms of their damage in game 1, but the early game still something to be desired for Rogue, as Razork looking for another gank.
Here he goes. Predator activated. Quick stun follow-up. Now Larson just immediately burned down. He tries to throw down the gravity field. He tries to stop Humanoid from getting in, but a confident flash forward will net him the kill.
Yeah, another kill for Fnatic. Herald dropped in mid, plates for Humanoid. Razork's basically everywhere at this point, just dominating mid jungle, and this all comes off the back of that one mistake by Malrang, just trying to go too deep onto Humanoid. Gives Razork an early lead, gives him a kill, gives him an experience advantage to invade the red, which allowed the big play.
Fully committed. Humanoid taking a lot of damage here. Should just fall down. Ulti used by the GP. Razork and Hylissang hovering in the area, but that is a kill traded back for Rogue, and the tower will stand.
At the very least, Rogue is able to get something back. They get onto the kill board, but look at the goal difference already. 3.5k. There is a 1k goal difference in jungle. There is a 1.2k goal difference in mid, and there's even an 800 gold lead for Wunder in the top lane. Fnatic are dominating the entire top side of the map. And while this time Comp has had a much more reasonable laning phase, it is Malrang that is suffering. And I want to bring us back to that red invade, because these smaller neutral objectives is something that you often don't see contested, but it was a very deliberate plan and setup. The fact that they also had the numbers advantage, the flash investment from Hylissang, the way they converted that into the mid play as well, just all of the pieces working in tandem to then gain so much off the back of it. Beautiful play from Fnatic.
Yeah, I'd love to see the replay of that fight from Hylissang's POV, just to see what vision he was playing with there, because it was a very, very aggressive one, and it's exactly like the snowball effect you just talked about. Netted Fnatic this early advantage, allows Razork to be unleashed on the map. Yes, he's the same level right now, but he's basically everywhere. Rogue are having a little bit of bot push. A lot of plates have fallen, as Rogue were forcing a little bit down here, Malrang making the Fnatic bot lane back away. Razork's on his way down now to push them back.
Right now, Comp, decent setup, but not good damage with these guns overall. Malrang waiting in the darkness. They're hoping to fish and find something, but hard to get a man advantage at this point. They can get the jump on Razork, but I'm not sure they can finish the kill without Larsen's full combo. Razork now stepping forward, looking to dive, but he can't just disable the tower. If he wants to, he'll do just that. Larsen taken out. Tower will now reactivate and start to shoot, but it's only one shot onto Razork.
Rogue very hesitant. Malrang was in a bush and he saw Razork. He's saying to the team, guys, we can collapse on him. We can punish this. And Larsen still dies to the gank that Razork does there. I think mid lane tower will fall as well. So Fnatic throwing a lot of things here at Rogue, and Rogue have no response.
Razork, when his flash is on cooldown, he will use it. Comp getting aggressive.
Stepping forward, not a lot of damage here. Ignite going down on the upside. He's forced to flash out to safety. Hylissang backing away. Aftershock procced is big, though. They've zoned away the Fnatic bottom lane, but in the meantime, the Dragon was going down. Malrang, this gank needs to work. Everything else on the map has gone horribly wrong. Maybe they can get something back here.
Dive coming in. Ultimate available from Malrang. Flash on
Pocket grasp, healing up. There's a lot of immediate upfront burst damage. The TP now coming in for Orianna. Maybe can try to trade something back. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Hylissang bringing him in with the Lantern. Razork now stepping forward. This is one big Bullet Bear. Comp perfect guns for a fight. Razork knows better than to overcommit into the Chakram. We'll back away.
Yeah, Humanoid TP top, got nothing. Malrang still had flash, didn't have ultimate to chase him down, Humanoid. So, play happens top, Rogue get a kill. Maybe they want to look mid. Another one here.
Odoamne, the pull back, looking, waiting for the wall. Is going to find the connected flag and drag. Perfect CC layering. Humanoid locked up and taken down.
Great early game from Fnatic, but up until this point, 2 kills over to Rogue. Looks for a bot play, didn't happen. Small blunders coming in now, and it's only roughly a 1,000 gold lead in favor of Fnatic after these waves crash. So Fnatic need to clean this up. They have dominant leads in every lane, but Comp.
Next flash. Hook does manage to lock. Going to flame back into the box. No, Tribby moving out. Just enough movement speed, and Comp is strong. Keep your eyes on the shirt.
No
He's got 3 currently. Big damage if he can land another Q active. They're going to fade away in just a moment. Upset. Now waiting for the GP ult to connect. Comp takes some good chip damage. Does give Upset control of the lane. Comp forced away for now, but Malrang on the way means Upset needs to be careful.
You gotta give props to Comp and Trymbi. They were our second all-pro bot laner. They are a duo that is highly respected. And when there hasn't been as much jungle attention focused bot, they have been winning out on these 2v2 skirmishes. They have been outplaying Upset and Hylissang, and they just successfully 2v2 killed them. Our 2 best bot laners in the league going toe-to-toe, and this time around, it is Comp and Trymbi coming out on top.
Yeah, and we saw Flakkett say it on interview. I believe I saw it on Reddit. He said, after playing against Rogue and Fnatic's bot lanes, I feel like Rogue is the best. And they're showing it a little bit there against the 2v2 kill. A lot of resources have been put down there by Malrang and forcing Upset off waves, but a 2v2 kill on an Aphelios Lulu lane that scales so dramatically well, that's going to be very, very helpful for Rogue the later this game goes on.
Yeah, and one of the main reasons why he said this was because he actually thought the Comp and Trymbi were just more aggressive laners. And I think that we've seen that multiple times. In game 1, some of their aggression was punished, of course. We saw repeated ganks from Razork. We saw Hilly's Pike doing a number in terms of limiting what they could do in the 2v2. But it's great to see that at first, Upset and Hylissang felt unrivaled in the 2v2. It felt like that they sat atop and everyone else was below them. But I think Comp and Trymbi have developed very well to a point at which they're considered, at the very least, strong rivals to contest this 2v2.
Yeah, we talk about Upset Hilly being the best bot lane in the West, and that's exactly the joy to see. A bot lane that can contest them. Yeah, you know, that's just Flackett's opinion, right? We can see it from multiple different games. Last game, Fnatic was dominating lane when Hylissang has the Pike. They played towards bot jungles there, but there is some competition.
Absolutely. And the fact that the story can change over the course of the series is fascinating to watch, because if you just showed me game 1, I would say, well, Fnatic clearly better. But now we see in this game signs for Rogue that we can continue to see Comp and Trymbi perform. See what else they can do now. If they can continue to build a lead for the Aphelios, we know how terrifying he can be as a hyper carry. Malrang going forward. Thresh obviously can't lantern himself out of the ultimate, so potentially a good target to fish for.
3 things sudden in life. Death, Taxes, and Fnatic playing bot side. So they want to make sure they can shut down any play they look on, even to Humanoid, even though Upset is mid. So they're going to have to give up that tower eventually, I think, with Comp staying down there. We'll see how Fnatic can get on the other side of the map. Herald is up. Tower is really low HP. Upset has mid push.
You know, I really hate myself for thinking this, but when Humanoid positioned himself just behind that wall, for some reason my brain went, he's going to flash and ult that wall. I just feel like also Humanoid's the type of player that will make those aggressive plays, but rationally it makes absolutely no sense.
It's the classic, this guy's inting. Oh, damn it.
Look, we said that about Malrang spending 2 minutes topside in the early game last game, but then he spent 2 minutes topside in the late game, and it almost won Rogue a game. So we got to willingly suspend your disbelief when it comes to League of Legends.
But also when you've like watched League enough, sometimes you kind of look at player tendencies and you're like, that's the type of player that would flash over a wall into a 1v5 and take that gamble.
Hylissang's a good example of diving bot.
Yeah.
You know, you just know when it's going to happen before it happens.
You just know.
Because you look at the play and you're like, it's probably a 60-70% chance they're going to die if they dive here. But the fact that there's 30 or 20 or 40, whatever it is, You know Hylissang's just going to take it.
Yeah, my favorite is, this makes literally 0 sense to me, which is how I know Hylissang's going to die here.
Fighting in top. Odo has ult. Malrang's around.
Quick knockback, zoning away. Wonder, of course, he's going to get shredded down here. Good damage traded back. Tries to heal up just a little bit, but odoamne going to secure that kill.
So what's Fnatic's response? Their top laner dies, and they just lost their bot tier 1. Drake's not up for 20 seconds. They have a Herald, but there's no mid tower, so there's really no response. Bot wave pushed in. Top lane's dead.
Observers, can you very quickly click on odoamne for me? I'd love to see what his TP time is. 10 seconds, so he should be available. Oh, he was going to reset there, and I understand why he's pushing in this wave. Perhaps they don't even want to bother contesting the Drake, which is totally fine, especially when you see Malrang just stealing all these topside camps. But I thought the Malrang would actually pass down towards bot, and then odoamne would reset, and then they would have the TP to contest, especially without Wonder having his ult. But instead, they're going to make the cross-map play. They're going to trade the tower in exchange for the Drake, and again, not that uncommon for Rogue. They are very used to dropping the first 2 Drakes and then looking to contest the third once they've got a couple more items under their belt.
And overall, not a bad trade, certainly. Getting the gold in the back pocket of Rogue. Malrang still hovering on the top side to maybe see if he can get something done. See how effective this Herald is on the bottom side, but credit to Rogue. The first few minutes of this game looked like it was going to be Fnatic dominance, Razork taking over the bot side invade as you highlighted, but that single play on the top side, giving Rogue back to the game and slowing Fnatic down so much here so that they could not continue to extend that lead as the gold just about dead even now.
And speaking of gold observers, could we look at the gold? Humanoid, he has 8.6k gold right now, even though he's up 20 CS. I think that mid tower helped him out because if we swap back to the items, he's sitting on a Ludens and a Rabadons. He doesn't care about Shadow Flame, he doesn't care about Void Staff second. He has a Rabadons. Look at Larsen's items. This Orianna is so strong, and it's 18 minutes into the game.
And when your Orianna strong and the person who's going to deliver that ball into the enemy backline is strong, you're gonna. I feel like you're gonna have a good team fight. That's a guesstimate.
That's crazy. Actually, I
Sork
didn't even
shoes
notice.
too.
Yeah, he literally just went back to base, bought the Sork shoes. This Ori is, yeah, how much AP? Can you just click on him for a quick second, observers? 282 right now, this early into the game. I mean, it's not the most. Obviously now, the death cap will only continue to
Exponentially,
inflate.
right.
Yeah. Often, I wouldn't consider it the best second item, but you know what? It does give more damage. That you can't really refute.
It makes every other purchase worth slightly more gold.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, level 13. Q max, W max, this Orianna's gonna hit like a truck.
Yeah, and it looked weird to me at first because the CS numbers were kind of the same. 1 kill difference, 2 assists. Surely it's not that much to get a full rapid ult, right? No, it was the mid tower. But anyway, now Razork shadowing Humanoid on top side. The next objective is this top tier 1. 2 towers apiece down for either side, and Rogue look like they want to defend the play for now. Humanoid has flash. odoamne is around. He sniffs that someone's around there. Oh, just good guess.
Fishing for the kill on the Humanoid. Humanoid very squishy. Yes, he has a death cap, but is he the one who's going to die? odoamne, has he been up more than he can shoot? No, certainly not. They found 1 kill. Razork in the area. odoamne still standing. Wonder coming in from behind. Can he connect the barrel? He might not need to. Barrel chain does hit. odoamne still standing. Will be forced back. Shut down onto Odo. Malrang still going in. Hylissang with the flame. Fishing, trying to get something back. Razork getting cut down. Komp is a very strong man, and that is a confident flash forward. The shutdown onto Razork is massive for the side of Rogue.
Just in a blink of an eye, everything kicks off straight away in the top side. Wunder's trying to run away with no flash. Trymbi should find him. Larsen trying to get this kill. Rogue are going to do Baron in the meanwhile with the Jarvan Aphelios. And this all comes off the back of odoamne timing Humanoid's move from top wave into bot side river. Just watch how he plays around with vision, but for now, we'll have to keep our eyes on Upset because Humanoid's TPing back in. This Baron's slowly falling. 4 members of Rogue against 2 members of Fnatic.
They cannot do this. Upset can just bully them off it. A small reprieve for Fnatic after a massive fight. You may have the death cap, Humanoid, but it is you who faces death this time round. odoamne with a great ultimate into the wall just eliminates Humanoid from the fight. He gets the ultimate off, but it's Malrang that flashes ultimates to shut him down. Then Upset forced out of the fight immediately because Trymbi and Komp come in from this angle, separating him from the fray, and then giving this angle. Look at this on the bottom side. They can then cut up through above the river to then offer support for his team, and then Upset has to go the long way around. So beautiful play from Rogue to create a numbers advantage, win out on the team fight, and almost secure themselves a Baron.
Yeah, fantastic play there. Unfortunately, yeah, don't get the Baron because Upset, Humanoid TPing back in. So odoamne stood over the wall in Mega Gnar saying, guys, Humanoid's going to push top and move into river. We need to punish him here. He has flash. He won't expect this. Blue Orb comes in to solidify that he's there. Jumps over, insta-stun. So really good engage there by Odo. No flash on Upset, no flash on Humanoid. The carry's no flash against the Jarvan. Hurts because there's only 1 Lantern. And yes, Upset can get out with the E, but if that's on cooldown, then only one of them is going to survive if Malrang can find them both. We'll see what target he opts into. But for now, going to be looking for some kind of siege on mid tower here.
And, you know, we're starting to see a trend in this series where The early game from Fnatic, pretty consistently dominant, but Rogue once again in the mid game, finding windows, finding opportunities, just finding these small mistakes from Fnatic with which they're very quick to punish. And that's what's resulting in these very even, close mid games because of how well Rogue is finding ways to come back into the game.
Definitely are, and look where most of the resources are. It's on Comp, 30 CS lead, 3 kills, almost 2.5 going towards 3 items here, looking for the Infinity Edge. Lulu by his side with the Moonstone, so much backline damage, and Fnatic don't have poke anymore. They have teamfight, they have barrels that can help out a little bit with that, and maybe some Caitlyn Qs and autos when he gets towards the rapid fire, but Malrang being creative. There's the Hex Flash tech.
Shockwave, Comp. Do you respect enough now backing away? That's the shot from downtown. Odoamne gonna finish the job. Wonder rather. Odoamne's now getting picked to pieces. That's a double kill for the GP. Razork now running. Third Drake and Rogue are just in time, finding that small advantage. Odoamne down, Comp down. Razork stepping in, taken out. Upset. Now the rest of the team going to back away. Rogue getting picked apart in that exchange. Hylissang gonna hook over the wall, but the timing not quite right, so Fnatic will now move in for the Drake.
And Humanoid gets his revenge with such a massive shockwave onto the backline, but it looks like the Hex Flash!
The Hex Flash! The Hex Flash flag and drag. Humanoid now locked in the pit, but who's locked in with who? That's the Lantern. Humanoid walking away to safety. Hook will not connect. Close exchange there as the Dragon falls.
I think Humanoid sidestepped the Victor E second there, so he dodged out on a little bit of damage that Larssen had. No ultimate either, so you can see the Hex Flash tech there. And I was looking at Malrang before the fight started, using his Hex Flash over the blue buff wall. And while I was looking at that, Engage just happens and Comp dies. Had no summoners in Flash and Cleanse, so was quite vulnerable. Good engage there from Fnatic, secure themselves now on Ocean Soul Point.
So, let's have a look back at this one. Look at the positioning of the ball here from Humanoid. Has his eyes on Comp. They get one step too close. Larssen ends up walking into range as well. Both of them get ultimate, and then watch this Caitlyn ult. No one there to protect him. The huge burst damage combined with the Gangplank ultimate. He basically gets killed off screen. So many members with their long range abilities shut him down, and with him gone, so much of the damage disappears for Rogue. Great pick from Humanoid, converts into a massive teamfight win for Fnatic, and they get themselves their third Drake of the game.
Yeah, pretty even game for now, but barring those Drakes. Gold quite similar at this point. If you look at AD carry, mid lane, top lane items across the board. Rogue now setting up towards the top side. 4 minutes on that Ocean Soul that they will have to inevitably fight. But for now, this is where they're going to focus. Humanoid has flash up again. Upset's coming up soon. Rogue carries as well, so a lot to work with for both teams.
Certainly the case. Wonder, does he want to fish for this 1v1? Now just looking for the barrel setup. Can start to poke back. Big damage from the GP. Multiple barrels now landed. Randuin's coming in. Yes, Odoamne is a bit more tanky, but Wonder hits like a truck, and that's it. Easy pick in the side lane.
Simple as that. Humanoid TP'd in, thinking he needed to help out there. Hylissang.
Like a drag. Hylissang locked up, flashing away with the box, fishing with the hook. He's going to land it on Trippy. That's big. Support now going to get taken down. Comp wants to turn it back, but Razork leaps out before the ult can connect on multiple members, and now they're trying to turn it. Both carries trying to focus down Razork, but he just will not dive. Volibear still stands tall.
And just like that, 4 members of Rogue are back in the fountain. A Baron is primed and ready for taking, and it just came off the back of nowhere. Wonder basically solo kills Odoamne with a TP investment from Humanoid. Then a teamfight in mid initiated by Malrang immediately gets punished. And Fnatic have just blown this game wide open. It is now fully in their control.
Yeah, that's going to be easy map control for them with the Nash, and we're going to take a look at that one again because Odoamne did get caught out before this, but Malrang looks for Hylissang, flashes away from the hook, which just ends up hitting Trimpy, so he's in the box, he dies, and now eyes on Razork, like you said, Dragos. He jumps on top of Comp, who we talked about being so strong, and starts hitting him. 1 versus 1, Larssen comes in, 1 versus 2, he's a tanky boy, and he wins.
Beautifully played team fight from Fnatic. Great patience, great target selection there as well. Razork just winning out straight up on that 1v1, the level advantage really proving its worth. And look at this, upset level 14. It was Comp that had the massive early lead, but only level 12 on this Aphelios. And Fnatic have been consistently winning out on these team fights.
Yeah, and if you look at the head-to-head between Rogue and Fnatic, across playoffs, Rogue haven't won a single game against Fnatic. If Fnatic win this game, they're 2-0 up. This is basically going to put them at 8-0 against Rogue in playoffs. Head-to-head, yes, in regular season, in Fnatic's favor, Rogue having 7 wins there, but Rogue yet to find a win.
Yeah, absolutely. And Fnatic, credit to them across so many rosters finding those wins. And Rogue, incredible that across so many rosters they have yet to find a win. Not with Hans Sama, not with the countless teams that they have been able to field in playoffs. Odoamne going for the pullback, however, not quite enough. Again, Razork so incredibly tanky. It's a hard game now for Rogue to play. Yes, Fnatic do not have the incredible poke of the previous game, but that GP ultimate is going to make walking into fights a nightmare for this Rogue lineup.
Siege begins. Fnatic, when they do these sieges, they never tend to split. And I mean, no TPs either, so hurts if you do split up. Don't want to get caught out. Odoamne trying to get a Mega Gnar bar, but this tier 2 should fall soon with Upset being able to step up. A Lantern right behind him, nothing for him to be scared of. Simple as that. First tier 2 falls. Malrang was looking for some kind of engage, but too far away for now. Now it's just a case of backing off, catching mid-wave. Maybe looking for a tier 2 mid, but they only have 1 minute left on this Baron, so the game hasn't been blown wide open. Still a very big gold lead in favor of Fnatic, but 1 minute on that Ocean Soul is what I'm looking at.
It's kind of crazy how quickly this game just flipped on its head. We were just talking about Fnatic's mid-game issues. The fact that they've made these small missteps. Rogue have done a great job of punishing them for their mistakes, and then back-to-back team fights. Fnatic, they find a Shockwave in mids, they find Odoamne in bots, and it's just been Fnatic's game ever since. These last 6 minutes have just been purely Fnatic domination. And now that soul point from the Dragon is up on the board in 35 seconds. They're back on the map, looking to control the mid wave. They have the bot wave pushing in, and the dance begins once more.
Malrang debating, Hex flashing over the wall, seeing if he can find an engage, but you can know that Rogue can tell that they are in trouble when Larssen is TPing in just to be ahead on tempo a little bit, just to be in the area to contest vision, to contest this Dragon. But Fnatic, staying strong, staying stalwart, will push for the mid lane control first. Cato, you talked about this in the previous game. Rogue maybe instead going to look to play through the bottom lane, but difficult with the wave already pushed in. Rogue might just have to give up part of their base to stop Fnatic from getting the Ocean Soul.
Oh, this stings because every second feels like an eternity. 3, 2, 1, the Dragon's finally spawned, and now we can start it. Come on, Dragon, get out here, because now you're losing your base. Fnatic just barreling it down. They're going to get the first inhibitor. What else can they get? They can't really force an end, but still, that's a lot of gold in their back pocket. Didn't even have to face check the soul.
Objective bounty goes down. Yes, they've slowed down the soul, but that inhibitor breaking open makes it that much easier for Fnatic to take major objectives in the future. Permanent mid priority, a nice thing to have.
Good play by Fnatic. Now just rotate into bots. Maybe they can look for some kind of bot siege. Odoamne has a Mega Gnar, so the second they see that, I think they're just going to opt to back away. All of Rogue now showing. Hylissang has the Lantern for upset.
Wonder from the backside, big barrel chain. Ooh, chunking out Odo. Odo getting lower and lower. Keep in mind the Collector's there. If he gets 5% HP, he instantly dies. Not quite. The ticks, the volleys, not enough to finish him with a GP. And now suddenly it's Razork in the midst of the entire team. Absolute confidence. He's big, he's powerful, but he's not powerful enough. Razork again finding the kills. It does not matter how many members you throw at this man. He refuses to die.
Wonder uses barrel, and oh boy was it super effective. Comp loses his HP bar as Razork dives onto the backline. They eliminate the damage threat, and they secure the tower. Fnatic once again claim everything on the map.
And they're just playing so well with range, picking their angles, picking their windows as to when they want to collapse into the fight. You can see it right here. Shockwave to chunk out Odoamne, then use a Kaden ult to follow up. No one's going to block it. GP ult as well. Try to poke him out. He just about lives. Lucky Odoamne, but still, then they just commit everything onto Comp, and Wonder just doing so much work on this gangplank.
So you can see the damage coming through. Wonder forced to flash. Oh, that heal just barely keeping him alive, but then track the barrels. Wonder's going to throw one out into the bush, and then just as he comes out,
beautiful.
He gets bursted out, and Razork's there for the cleanup. Wonder doing a good job there on the backline, and then Rogue without Wonder as well. Going back to base, they have to disengage. The tower is secured. Fnatic get what they want. They go back to base, and they reset back out into the map.
Yeah, and they're going to control the map as well, pushing towards the top side. Mid pushed in. Humanoid going to push out top. Next objective will be this Baron, but for now, the next objective might be Larssen as Razork's going down here. TP coming in.
Razork waiting, taking his time.
Double TP.
Oh, the follow-up. That's going to be Humanoid grabbing the kill. Humanoid 4 items 30 minutes into the game. He is looking strong. Wonder in a similar state. That's enough crit chance to activate the IE. He will hit like a truck.
And Hylissang was solo there mid, defending the wave, making sure Rogue couldn't look for a mid tower. I thought that Fnatic would just barrel down bot there and look for some kind of siege, because most of the wave clear from Rogue is gone, but they're just going to base, set up some control around top side, because the problem you run into is if Fnatic were to go down towards bot there, siege this tier 3, if they get hit by a Mega Gnar ult, then they get, you know, all the tempos messed up and they get chased down. There's a window for Rogue to go towards Baron, but talking about Baron, Malrang, he's looking for, I don't know, is he looking for to catch someone out here? He's looking for a positioning for a flank. He's going to sit here for a while because Baron's still 20 seconds away and his team's on mid-wave, so we'll keep track on how long he sits here. Humanoid's going to go for the next top wave perhaps, but that's really far away as well, so...
Guys, pitch here in this brief moment of calm. I know it's a serious
Oh, the blue
match.
orb! Just missed Malrang.
But why? I can't believe they're so in tune of Malrang potentially doing this that they blue orbed that top rush, even when they have the wave completely pushed in.
We do call it a Fnatic death brush. You know, if any team was going to be ready...
Baron's
dying.
Here he comes. Here he
He's going
comes.
to find his way in here.
There's no...
Surely not,
He's
right?
going to die. It's too late.
It's gone.
But they haven't found him. If we were playing hide and seek, Malrang would be acing it right now.
Yeah,
Oh my god, he's right next to Upset.
Oh, look at that thing.
He hits 2 members. That's the kind of goes a big damage. Oh, that's the flank of the century, but it does not look like it'll be enough. Or will it? Humanoid still standing strong. No, Fnatic are just too strong. Damn, it looked good, but it did not matter. Big fight for Fnatic in the end.
Oh, what a flank from Malrang. That is the second time he's done that around Baron. It was a clutch engage. The follow-up was good from Comp, but that's all it was. It was cool to watch, but it did not result in anything. Fnatic, they have all 5 members, they have the Baron buff, and they have the Nexus and Game 2 in their eyes.
Maybe a couple more items on Comp, but all 3 of them would have just got blown up instantly, and Rogue would have a way back in, but Fnatic will put themselves on match points.
Razork again stepping forward. No way out of that one. Fnatic dominance in the early game. Yes, they give up 1 or 2 small fights, but they always come back swinging in the mid to late game as they move to match points.
In Game 1, we saw Fnatic with a poke comp, where they had to be patient, they had to be respectful, and while they did let that Elder slip, they did execute their comp very well. Sometimes they got panicked a little bit, especially when they were getting later into the game, but we saw that style from them. This time around, we saw much more of a team fight comp, where Razork really dominated the early game, and we're seeing these variations in Fnatic and showcasing how flexible they can be as a team, but also, this time around, they were able to punish Rogue in the mid-game, which was something that, well, they were receiving in Game 1.
Yeah, I think Rogue needs to swap it up. This is the second game we see Victor and R come out of them, and not much really happened on the map. I mean, this is the second game where Fnatic run away with the early game, blunders in Game 1 in the mid to late game, but still, Fnatic just showing so much versatility.
Absolutely. And Volibear, like, ban it or get it, Rogue. I'm just saying, you get side selection. This champion looks ludicrous in the early game. And yes, Malrang had 1 or 2 good Jarvan moments. That final fight, perfect if they had, 2,000 more gold on each character, but ultimately it just has not been enough. Fnatic now moving on to match point, and they are 1 game away from the spring finals. Before we get to Game 3, let's listen to the Song of the Week, Low by 71 Digits and Flo Rida, which is available on the official LEC playlist on Spotify.
Oh yes, the king of the jungle. Time for a quick Red Bull?
Red Bull? But you still won't be quicker than the lion.
I don't have to be quicker than the lion, just quicker than you.
Red Bull gives you